Oasis Audio presents C.S. Lewis, A Biography of Friendship, by Colin Duriez. Read for you by Simon Vance. Preface. An Oxford student of C.S. Lewis's told J.R.R. Tolkien that he found his new tutor interesting. Tolkien responded, "Interesting? Yes, he's certainly that. You'll never get to the bottom of him." There is a proverb in a number of languages that goes like this: "Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are." You can learn a great deal about people by their friends, the company they keep, and nowhere is this more true than in the case of C.S. Lewis, the remarkable academic, author, populariser of faith, and creator of Narnia. Throughout Lewis's life, key relationships mattered deeply to him, from his early days in the north of Ireland and his school days in England, as a teenager in the trenches of the First World War, and then later in Oxford. The friendships he cultivated throughout his life proved to be vital, influencing his thoughts, his beliefs, and his writings. My biography of Lewis focuses on some of his most important friendships, including members of the literary group associated with him, the Inklings. Along with the places and events of his life, as well as his writings, these friendships help us to understand just who C.S. Lewis was. What did Arthur Greeves, for instance, a lifelong friend from his adolescence, bring to him? How did J.R.R. Tolkien and the other members of the now famous Inklings shape him? Why, in his early 20s, did he share a home with a single mother twice his age, Janie Moore, looking after her for so many years until her death? And why did he choose to marry so late? What of the relationship with his alcoholic and gifted brother, who joined his unusual household? C.S. Lewis was, in many ways, a remarkable enigma, as Tolkien intimated to the student. He guarded his inner life, yet attracted his readers by his friendly, warm and open tone. Even in his erudite scholarship, the reader feels they are being treated as an equal with whom Lewis's insights into ancient poets and writers are being shared. Lewis appears to assume you are a fellow learner, but wears his knowledge lightly. He does not intimidate, but draws you in. As the narrator of the Narnian stories, his voice is simply like that of a kindly uncle. An atheist for much of his formative early life, Lewis became one of the most well-known of modern popularisers of the Christian faith. Yet the scope of his varied books is not limited by age, creed, or nationality. He wrote books for children, as well as for students and scholars, and successfully explored new genres, such as science fiction and fantasy for adults. He breathed new life into the traditional world of theological writing with his best-selling The Screwtape Letters, which put him on the cover of Time magazine after the Second World War, signalling an extraordinary impact upon America that has lasted to this day. Works of his literary scholarship are still in print half a century after his death, and he is a household name in the British Isles, mainly through his The Chronicles of Narnia. My book is not aimed at the scholar, but the general reader who may have read a Narnia book or two, or perhaps the Screwtape Letters. Some readers may have dipped into his popular theology, such as Mere Christianity, or the record of his bereavement in losing his wife, A Grief Observed. Others may have seen the film Shadowlands, or an adaptation of a Narnia story. Though my book aims first of all to tell the story of Lewis's life, and the part played in it by his friends, it draws upon the latest scholarship, suitably digested and unpublished material housed at the Marion E. Wade Center, Wheaton College, Illinois, USA, and at the Bodleian Library, Oxford. The Marion E. Wade Center in particular holds extensive writings by Warren Hamilton Lewis, known as Warnie, bequeathed by him to its archives, and oral history interviews from those who knew Lewis and have since died. The Center shares copies of W. H. Lewis's manuscripts with the Bodleian. Scholars and others knowledgeable of C.S. Lewis to whom I'm indebted are too numerous to mention, but I must especially acknowledge previous biographers: Roger Lancelyn Green, Walter Hooper, A.N. Wilson, George Sayer, Alan Jacobs, Douglas Gresham, and others writing from an Ulster context: David Bleakley, Ronald W. Bresland, and Derek Bingham. There are those, too, who wrote of Lewis's relationship with Joy Davidman, Brian Sibley, Douglas Gresham, Don W. King, and Lyle Dorset, and the Inklings, Humphrey Carpenter and Diana Glyer. David C. Downing's The Most Reluctant
Sample complete. Ready to continue?